Hello, everyone, and welcome to the English Podcast Classroom. I'm Mia, your English learning companion, and I'm so excited you've joined me today. This is your safe space to learn, practice, and grow your English skills at your own comfortable pace. In today's episode, we're going to explore something very practical and useful. Talking about daily habits in English. Not complicated grammar rules or difficult vocabulary, but simple, real English that you can use every single day. I speak slowly and clearly. I repeat important ideas. I give you time to think and practice. This is your classroom, and you are the most important student here. By the end of this episode, you will feel more confident talking about what you do every day, what you like to do, and what you want to change in your routine. You'll learn useful phrases, practice pronunciation, and most importantly, you'll speak English with me. Are you ready? Let's begin this English journey together. Why are we talking about daily habits today? Because habits are everywhere in your life. Every morning, you have habits. Every evening, you have routines. When you can describe these in English, you can have real conversations with English speakers. Think about it. When you meet someone new, what do they ask you? They might say, "What do you like to do?" Or, "What's your morning routine like?" Or, "Do you exercise?" These are questions about your habits, your daily life. When you practice talking about your habits in English, you're practicing real, useful language. You're not memorizing strange sentences from a textbook. You're learning to express your actual life in English. And here's something wonderful. You already know your habits very well. You don't need to think hard about what to say. You know what time you wake up. You know if you drink coffee or tea. You know what you do after work. This makes speaking easier and more natural. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone asks you, "Do you have any morning habits?" If you've practiced before, you can answer confidently. You might say, "Yes, I always drink coffee first thing in the morning. It helps me wake up." That's a complete, natural answer. But if you haven't practiced, you might feel nervous. You might say just, "Yes," or "coffee." That's okay too, but wouldn't you prefer to give a fuller answer? That's what we're going to practice today. Before we practice speaking, let's understand what we mean by habits. A habit is something you do regularly, often without thinking about it. It's automatic. It's part of your routine. For example, brushing your teeth is probably a habit. You do it every day. You don't decide each morning, "Should I brush my teeth today?" You just do it. Drinking coffee might be a habit for you. Reading before bed might be a habit. Checking your phone when you wake up might be a habit. An activity is different. An activity is something you choose to do, but maybe not every day. Going to the movies is an activity. Visiting friends is an activity. These are things you plan and decide to do. In this episode, we'll focus mainly on habits, those regular daily things you do. But we'll also talk about activities you enjoy doing regularly. Here are some common habit categories we'll explore together. Morning habits, work or study habits, evening habits, weekend habits, health habits, learning habits. For each category, I'll give you useful vocabulary example sentences, and time to practice speaking. Remember, this is your classroom. You can pause anytime you want to repeat or practice. Let's start with morning habits. The morning sets the tone for your whole day, doesn't it? Many successful people say that good morning habits are the key to a good life. Here are some common morning habits. Listen and repeat after me. I wake up at the same time every day. Now you repeat. I drink a glass of water when I wake up. Your turn. I make my bed right after I get up. Please repeat. I check my phone for messages. Now you try. I do some light stretching or exercise. Your turn to repeat. I eat a healthy breakfast. Please say this with me. I review my goals for the day. Now you repeat. I listen to music or podcasts while getting ready. Your turn. Good job. Now let's put them into longer sentences. This helps you sound more natural and confident. Every morning, I wake up at 6:30 without an alarm clock. My body is used to this time now. Try to repeat this longer sentence. The first thing I do is drink a large glass of water. I read that it's good for your health. Now you repeat. I always make my bed because it makes me feel organized and ready for the day. Your turn. While I eat breakfast, I usually listen to an English podcast like this one. Please repeat. Now, I want to share my personal morning habits with you. Listen carefully, and then I'll ask you to try sharing yours. My morning routine is quite simple, but very important to me. I wake up naturally around 6 a.m. I don't use an alarm clock anymore because my body knows when to wake up. The first thing I do, even before I get out of bed, is think of 3 things I'm grateful for. It might be the sunny weather, my comfortable bed, or simply the fact that I have a new day to learn something. Then I get up slowly. I don't rush. I go to the kitchen and drink a big glass of water with a little lemon juice. This helps wake up my body from the inside. Next, I make coffee. Not too strong, just perfect for me. While the coffee is brewing, I do 5 minutes of gentle stretching. Nothing complicated, just moving my arms, my neck, my back. It feels wonderful after sleeping. I sit by my window with my coffee and write in my journal for about 10 minutes. Sometimes I write about yesterday, sometimes about my plans for today, sometimes just about how I feel. Writing in the morning helps clear my mind. That's my morning routine. Simple, peaceful, and it prepares me for whatever the day brings. Now, it's your turn. I want you to try describing 1 or 2 of your morning habits. You can pause this episode and speak out loud. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just practice speaking. Try starting with these phrases. Every morning the first thing I do is my morning routine includes, go ahead, give it a try.
Weekends are special, aren't they? For many people, weekends mean freedom from work or school schedules. You can wake up later, do things you enjoy, spend time with people you love, or simply rest. Let's learn some vocabulary for weekend habits. I sleep in on Saturday mornings. Now you repeat. I do household chores like cleaning and laundry. Your turn. I spend time with family and friends. Please repeat. I pursue my hobbies and interests. Now you try. I go shopping for groceries and other necessities. Your turn to repeat. I exercise or play sports. Please say this with me. I plan activities for the upcoming week. Now you repeat. I try new restaurants or cook special meals. Your turn. Let's practice with longer, more conversational sentences. On Saturday mornings, I love sleeping until I naturally wake up, usually around 8 or 9 a.m. It feels luxurious not to hear an alarm clock. Try to repeat this. I have a weekend habit of going to the local farmers market. I enjoy seeing fresh vegetables and talking to the vendors. Now you repeat. Sunday evenings are for preparation. I do laundry, plan my meals for the week, and organize my workspace for Monday. Your turn. I try to do something creative every weekend, whether it's cooking a new recipe, drawing, or working in my garden. Please repeat. Weekend habits can be very different from person to person. Some people love active weekends, hiking, sports, traveling. Other people prefer quiet weekends, reading, cooking, spending time at home. Both types are perfectly fine. Let me tell you about my weekend habits. My weekends are a balance of productivity and relaxation. Saturday morning is my favorite time of the week. I wake up without an alarm, make a special breakfast, maybe pancakes or fresh fruit with yogurt, and eat slowly while reading or listening to music. There's no rush, no schedule to follow. Saturday afternoon is usually for errands and household tasks, but I try to make them enjoyable. I go to the grocery store and farmer's market, picking out ingredients for special meals. I clean my apartment while playing upbeat music and dancing a little. Even chores can be fun with the right attitude. Saturday evening is social time. I might cook dinner for friends, go out to a restaurant, or have a video call with family who live far away. Connecting with people I care about is essential for my happiness. Sunday has a different energy. It's more reflective and preparatory. I often go for a long walk in nature, in a park, by the water, or through interesting neighborhoods. Walking helps me think and process the week that passed. Sunday afternoon is for hobbies. I might work on creative projects, practice a musical instrument, or learn something new online. I love learning new things, especially skills that have nothing to do with my work. Sunday evening is preparation time. I review my calendar for the upcoming week, do meal planning, and prepare my workspace. But I also make sure to do something purely relaxing. Maybe take a bath, watch a favorite movie, or call a friend. I end Sunday by setting intentions for the new week. Not just tasks to accomplish, but how I want to feel and what kind of energy I want to bring to my days. What are your weekend habits? Do you prefer active weekends or relaxing ones? Do you use weekends to catch up on work, or do you keep them completely separate from work? Try describing your typical weekend. On weekends, my favorite weekend activity is Saturday mornings are for I always make sure to on Sundays. Take some time to practice speaking about your weekend routines. Taking care of your health is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. Health habits aren't just about exercise. They include how you eat, how you sleep, how you manage stress, and how you take care of your mental well-being. Let's learn vocabulary for talking about health habits. I drink plenty of water throughout the day. Now you repeat. I try to eat vegetables with every meal. Your turn. I go for a walk every day, even if it's short. Please repeat. I get at least 8 hours of sleep each night. Now you try. I take deep breaths when I feel stressed. Your turn to repeat. I limit my screen time before bed. Please say this with me. I schedule regular checkups with my doctor. Now you repeat. I practice gratitude daily. Your turn. Let's practice more detailed sentences. I have a habit of drinking a glass of water as soon as I wake up. I keep a water bottle by my bed so I remember. Try to repeat this. Every day after lunch, I take a 15-minute walk outside. Fresh air and movement help me feel energized for the afternoon. Now you repeat. I've developed a habit of putting my phone in another room when I sleep. This improves my sleep quality significantly. Your turn. When I feel overwhelmed, I stop what I'm doing and take 10 slow, deep breaths. It's amazing how this simple habit can change my mood. Please repeat. Health habits are very personal. What works for one person might not work for another. The key is to find habits that you can maintain consistently, habits that make you feel good physically and mentally. Let me share some of my health habits with you. I'm not a health expert, but these are things that work well for me. My most important health habit is drinking water. I start every day with a large glass of water, and I carry a water bottle with me everywhere. When I'm properly hydrated, I have more energy, my skin looks better, and I think more clearly. I also have a habit of moving my body every day, but not necessarily intense exercise. Sometimes it's a 30-minute walk, sometimes it's dancing to music in my living room, sometimes it's gentle yoga or stretching. The important thing is moving every day, not being perfect.
For nutrition, I try to eat something colorful with every meal. Green vegetables, red tomatoes, orange carrots, purple berries. I don't follow strict diets, but I do try to eat foods that make me feel energetic and healthy. Sleep is crucial for me. I have a habit of going to bed at the same time every night and waking up at the same time every morning, even on weekends. This helps my body maintain a natural rhythm. For mental health, I practice what I call micro meditations throughout the day. When I feel stressed or overwhelmed, I take just 1 minute to breathe deeply and center myself. I don't need to sit in lotus position or meditate for an hour. Just 1 mindful minute can make a big difference. I also have a habit of spending time in nature every day, even if it's just sitting by a window and looking at trees. Nature has a calming effect on my nervous system. What are your health habits? Maybe you have different ones. Maybe you swim or bike or practice martial arts. Maybe you meditate for longer periods, or you follow a specific diet that works for you. Maybe you prioritize sleep, or you have habits for managing stress. Try describing your health habits. For my health, my most important health habit is to stay healthy. I try to. When I feel stressed, try describing your health habits. Since you're listening to this English podcast, I know you have at least one learning habit. You're learning English. Learning is a lifelong journey, and good learning habits can help you improve any skill, not just languages. Let's practice vocabulary for learning habits. I set aside time for learning every day. Now you repeat. I practice a little bit consistently rather than studying for hours occasionally. Your turn. I review what I learned before learning something new. Please repeat. I apply what I learn in real situations. Now you try. I'm not afraid to make mistakes because that's how I learn. Your turn to repeat. I celebrate small progress and improvements. Please say this with me. I find learning methods that work for my learning style. Now you repeat. I stay curious and ask questions. Your turn. Now let's practice with more complex sentences. I have a habit of learning something new every day, even if it's just one new word or one interesting fact. Consistency is more important than quantity. Try to repeat. When I learn something new, I always try to teach it to someone else or write about it. This helps me understand it more deeply. Now you repeat. I keep a learning journal where I write down new things I discover. Looking back at this journal motivates me to keep learning. Your turn. I'm patient with myself when learning. I know that real learning takes time, and I don't expect to be perfect immediately. Please repeat. As an English teacher, I think a lot about effective learning habits. Here are some of my personal learning habits that have helped me throughout my life. First, I dedicate time to learning every single day, but not necessarily hours. Sometimes it's 15 minutes reading an article about something I'm curious about. Sometimes it's 30 minutes practicing a skill I want to improve. The key is consistency. A little bit every day is better than studying for hours once a week. I have a habit of connecting new learning to things I already know. When I learn a new concept, I ask myself, how is this similar to something I already understand? How is it different? This helps the new information stick in my memory. I also have a habit of applying what I learn immediately. If I learn a new word, I try to use it in conversation that day. If I learned a new cooking technique, I try it in my kitchen. If I learned about a historical event, I might look for a documentary about it. Active application helps learning become permanent. One of my most important learning habits is embracing mistakes. When I make a mistake, I don't feel ashamed or frustrated. Instead, I think, great, now I know something I didn't know before. Mistakes are information. They show me where I need to focus my attention. I keep a learning notebook where I write down interesting things I discover, new words, fascinating facts, insights from books or conversations. Sometimes I read through old entries and am amazed at how much I've learned over time. For language learning specifically, I believe in the power of immersion. I try to surround myself with English as much as possible. I read in English, watch movies in English, listen to music in English, and think in English. The more you surround yourself with a language, the more natural it becomes. What are your learning habits? How do you approach learning new things? Are you someone who likes to study from books, or do you prefer learning by doing? Do you learn better alone or with others? Do you learn better in the morning or evening? Try describing your learning approach. When I want to learn something new, my best learning habit is I learn most effectively when, to remember what I learn, I practice talking about how you learn best.
Sometimes we want to develop new habits, healthier habits, more productive habits, habits that help us become the person we want to be. Building new habits can be challenging, but it's definitely possible with the right approach. Let's learn some phrases for talking about building new habits. I'm trying to develop a new habit of... Now you repeat. I want to start the habit of... Your turn. I'm working on making a daily routine. Please repeat. It's challenging at first, but I'm getting better. Now you try. I remind myself to by setting phone alarms. Your turn to repeat. I'm being patient with myself as I build this new habit. Please say this with me. I celebrate small wins when I stick to my new routine. Now you repeat. I start small and gradually increase the difficulty. Your turn. Here are some strategies that help when building new habits. Start very small. If you want to exercise every day, don't start with an hour at the gym. Start with 5 minutes of stretching. If you want to read more, Don't plan to read for an hour every day. Start with 10 minutes. Small habits are easier to maintain, and success with small habits builds confidence for bigger changes. Connect the new habit to an existing habit. This is called habit stacking. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will do 5 minutes of meditation. Or after I drink my morning coffee, I will write in my journal. Using existing habits as triggers makes new habits more automatic. Be consistent rather than perfect. If you miss one day, don't give up. Just start again the next day. Building habits is about long-term patterns, not perfect performance every single day. Track your progress. You can use a simple calendar and put an X on days when you successfully do your new habit. Seeing your progress visually is very motivating. Be patient and kind to yourself. Research shows it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit. Some habits form faster, some take longer. Don't judge yourself if it takes time. What new habit would you like to develop? Maybe you want to exercise regularly, eat healthier foods, read more books, practice English every day, meditate or practice mindfulness, wake up earlier, spend less time on social media, call friends and family more often. Try talking about a habit you want to build. I want to start the habit of, I'm trying to. My goal is to, every day. I think it would be good for me to. Wonderful work today. You've practiced talking about so many different types of habits: morning routines, work habits, evening activities, weekend plans, health practices, and learning strategies. More importantly, you've been speaking English and building your confidence. Remember, habits are powerful because they shape who we become. The small things you do every day create your life. When you can talk about your habits in English, you're sharing a very personal and important part of yourself. Here's your homework, but it's fun homework. For the next week, try to notice your habits more consciously. When you wake up tomorrow morning, think in English. I am waking up at a.m. Now I am going to. Throughout the day, occasionally describe what you're doing in English, even if it's just in your head. You can also try this. Choose one small new habit you'd like to develop and practice describing it in English. For example, I want to start drinking more water, or I want to read for 10 minutes every evening. The more you practice talking about your real life in English, the more natural and confident you'll become. You're not just learning a language, you're learning to express your authentic self in English. Thank you for spending this time with me in the English podcast classroom. I hope you feel proud of yourself for practicing and learning today. Keep up the excellent work, be patient with yourself, and remember that every small step forward is progress. I'm Mia, and I'll be here with you again soon for another English learning adventure. Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. Goodbye for now.